Now, if we talk about some of the cloud risk management trade-off, okay, so some trade-off of the cloud risk management. So I think by now we have a very clear idea that what is going to be the trade-offs over here. So first is going to be there is less physical control. Then there is, more reliability on contract, audit, and assessments. And many of these contract, audit and assessment is not performed by you. You are not able or allowed to do such kind of a thing. There will be someone else who, with the report that has been given to you, you will be just trusting those things. Then, this thing, they create the increased requirement of the proactive management of, relationship and adherence to your contract. So, which is going to extend beyond the initial, which extend beyond the initial contract signing and audit. So there is always, there is always need of proactive management. There is always need of the proactive management over there. Okay. Now, this thing could be putting some of the, overhead onto your manager or your technical team, that you have to keep managing them apart one after another. Now, cloud customers, they have a reduced need, right? In the cases of, what, sometimes due to the cost, okay, but they have to manage is, cloud customer, they have a reduced need to manage risk that the cloud provider accept under the shared responsibility model. So you cannot have that whole access that we were talking about, that, visibility and all those issues that are going to be there. So those are still to be onto that part over there. Now, when we talk about the, cloud risk management tool, so the process that help us the founding the risk management computing is that one of the core tenet of risk management is that you can manage, transfer, accept to avoid risk, but everything start with the proper assessment. And the assessment, that, supplies assessment, how you should be starting, right, for the cloud risk management. So if we just create a kind of a chain, that what should be done one after another. So first is we will be starting with the request, or you should be saying acquire the documentation. Okay, so you might be remembering something like this, others from the CCSK. I think, they were taking that. I think question were also from this place, that what will be the current sequence, right sequence of, if someone want to start the risk management of the your supplier. So how it will be started. So first will be the request the documentation. Second will be the review security program. Okay. So review their security program and their documentation. After that, you will be reviewing any, review any your legal, regulatory, industry, industry contact, obligation. Okay, right. So review any legal, regulatory, contractual, and jurisdictional requirement as well for the both provider and yourself, for both of them. Then you will be evaluating the, after this thing, you will be evaluate your service based on context of information assets involved. Right. So you will be evaluating the contracted services in the context of your information asset over there. And then in the end, separately, you will be evaluating the overall provider, such as their finance, stability, reputation, and outsource. So what you are doing, evaluate the provider. So these things are going to be the part of your whole journey, that you are going to start with this something like this, starting these things on the same note over there. And you are going to be okay, after reviewing and understanding the risk with the cloud provider, what we need to understand is that what are the residual risk. Okay, what are the risk left by, okay, offered by the, whatever the risk, let's say that you have implemented everything. Now what kind of risk is remain? Okay, they will be managed by the controls that you implement, like, okay, you have seen proper firewall rules and everything. Now you have stored the data. So I will be mitigating that residual risk via the encryption of the data. Okay, that how it should be, you have applied the firewall rule, only this IP, this service can access things. But in the end, what we'll be doing will be, that residual risk should be handled with the risk. I'll be handling it with what? Your encryption, that even then if someone got their hands on that data, they will be getting or understanding nothing over there. So this is something that is going to be in there. And risk transfer, most often, what, how they enable it, they enable it via the insurance, and it is the kind of imperfect mechanism, especially in your information risk, and it can compensate some of the financial loss associated with the primary loss event, but it is not going to help with the something like, reputation loss or loss of, customers trust, right? These things it cannot help with. So there is, we have the different risk, residual risk, and then if you are hell using the method of risk transfer, we have to always remember it is not going to, if your image is tarnished, it is going to be tarnished or ever kind of a scenario. So we will try to avoid such kind of a things over here. So these things are a bit on the understanding of the governance, ERM, and cloud, right? So before we do, okay, before, okay, indulge in this something more on the theoretical, let's just think of a very, let's see things bit practically. So I was promising to show you some other things as well, but a very simple process. Let's just do one thing. Okay, let's say that there are these machines. Okay, now I would like to know your opinion that what we can do in such kind of a scenario. This is the resource, okay, and this is a critical resource. Now my requirement is that any person, so you remember I created your account and I was giving the permission as a contributor, owner, reader over here, right? So we are giving lot of people the same kind of access. Many people will be having the same access, right? They can create a VM, maybe a team whole can have something like that. But now your VM is running some critical, resource, assessing something very critical. Now, during that time, you don't want someone to go ahead and change its state or go ahead and delete. Let's say, in a group, we are having a team of 10 to 15 people who has the, your contributor role. So they can go ahead, they can stop the VM, delete the VM, those kind of things they can do, right? Because they have this role of the VM contributor. Now, I don't want to just go and remove the rule from them, because it is necessary for them to go and work with that same scenario, right? They should be able to create a VM, start a VM, stop a VM to complete their day-to-day task. But in the same time, on that machine, my particular you know uh, workload is also running. Now what I want from here is that, okay, so my requirement in this one is pretty much simple kind of a thing, that even though you have permission, you should not be able to allowed to go and stop that VM or delete a VM. So how I can achieve this thing? Very simple thing, right? A very simple kind of policy, but a small process I need to put in place for achieve something like that. Okay, I think because you are not going to be that much familiar with this, so we have something in here what we called here or see here as a logs. Okay, now in Azure, what I am having something like the, okay, because we are talking about these things. If I keep talking about the GRS, GRC and all, it will be keep becoming boring and boring. So let's just do something hands-on. So first of all, logs. So there are two kind of the logs. There is going to be the read only log and delete log, right? So this is in the Azure we are talking about. Now, in that whole requirement, what is happening? If I am having two kind of log, there is the delete log, delete, and there is the read only. Now, there are different tasks. There is the task of your, let's say, first of all, you know, uh, start, stop means changing the state of the machine. Start it, stop it, and then there will be something like the your start stop, and there will be something like your start stop means the person can go ahead and change the state of the machine or not. So first in the delete log, what will happen, that the person would be able to go ahead and start and stop means change the state of that machine over there, right? Now it will not that person will not be able to delete that machine over there. Then in the read only lock, no, neither it will be able to start or stop the machine, or neither it will be able to go ahead and delete the machine.